Okay, so this is my project for the Spotify API. Let me render it real quick. I'll show you what it does. What it does is you put a playlist name in, it finds a playlist, it ranks the tracks for their popularity and how many genres are present. So let's do the second track, their playlist. It's going to give you, like, this is just a prompt based on the findings. It's got a few what it does based on the data. It judges you. I made it kind of snarky. So the average popularity rating, 32 out of 100. And then this rates, so tracks don't have genres, only artists do. So it goes and it finds artists for all the tracks, and it ranks their top genre. So 9 of the artists on this playlist had these genres. So these are the tied for top. Second, third, of course. If you want, you can do it again. So we do the same one, but this time we'll do the fourth playlist. Again, so now this one is a little less niche based on the popularity ranking. So it says something else. Then it takes a second to run. We'll spit out your data. Here we go, 42 out of 100. Again, jazz rap is the top on this one. If you're done, you say no and you're good. So for the Spotify web API, I did the search query one for the first, because I knew I would have to find the playlists, and the search query function that does that. Let me get it organized here. So this is get playlist ID. This is a search query, so obviously it does a search. And the Spotify API, it's like, I'm not sure why. If you do 5, 2 of them will come up as null. If you do 8, 3 of them will come up as null, and it's not consistent which ones. So the easiest way I found to get the top 5 is if you search for 10 playlists. I think 6, 7, and 9 will come up as null. So I just search for 10, I get the top 5. That's an easy way around it. The 200, it creates 3 array lists, like a hash map for name, and then the playlists. Or it's just a map, it's not a hash map.
Screw the fuck out of it.
But puts all the data in, it iterates through the items. This is it going through all like the layers, the nests, so the items, and then it finds a playlist, finds the playlist details, it finds a key owner. From there it finds the key display name, and then it goes back and it adds to the hash values, the correct ones, the name, the owner, and that's pretty much it. For this one, to get the ID, it does the same thing, but it kind of has to go down a different track because this is through the details through the owner track. So for this one, it just stays there. It goes to ID, adds all the IDs in the same order. Then yeah, the Spotify API, I decided to use the popularity and then the genres. And the popularity, I just like that. I think that's a cool stat that they don't show you through, like you can only access it through the API. So that just intrigued me. That's why I chose it. And the genres, I figured it would like rate the diversity of the playlist, or you can like find the vibe. Like for this one, of course, jazz rap, alternative hip hop, experimental hip hop, East Coast, and old school. Like you can kind of build a pretty strong picture of what the playlist sounds like just off of that. And then the problems, yeah. So obviously, finding the 5 is for that. I'll just go straight into the functions because they kind of go hand in hand. So the main function here is rate playlist, which I'll just take it through it. It gets a playlist ID. This is your map. Then, so this is the top 5 playlists, or it gives you like the 7 that it returns because some of them are null. Only iterates to the top 5. Then it uses the playlist features to actually get the object for containing all the tracks. And that is this one. So it does a track with the ID / tracks. We only want to find the tracks. This one's pretty simple. It just returns an object. Not a lot of complexity for that call. There begins the analysis. So then it gets a popularity. Right here, it's going to go through. It's going to iterate through the tracks. It's got a array list. So it iterates, it goes through the layers, tracks, track wrapper, the track, and then it finally gets to popularity. So it gets popularity, make sure it's not null. And then it kind of has to do some casting because it's the object type. Adds it up. Make sure if it's empty, just go 0 so you don't get a null error. And at the end, just some fancy array list stuff to get the sum, divided by size to get the average. Then after that, so it takes that score, and then based off what you get, it kind of gives you a pre-done response. So I just type these out, kind of silly with them, you know what I mean? Kind of snarky. And then this is genres, so this creates a map of the get genres. This only gets all the genres, so it gets, I believe, let me pull it up. And it's going to go through, it's already got the track object. So those two calls are the only ones that need to be made. Call through, kind of pulls through. So I had to change I had problems with the popularity one. It was kind of iffy with the API. The API is inconsistent, so there's a different method. I was debugging that one. For this one, it's more of nested ifs. And goes to the project tracks, artists, goes to the artists to get the ID for the artists, and then it actually makes a call because tracks don't have a genre, only artists do. So it creates a list of the IDs. Here's a list of IDs, and then for all the ID lists, it goes through. Genres is pretty easy to get to from the artist call. It checks right here, it's making sure, because it makes a list of genres. So the hash map will contain, like, if you're going through, the first artist has a genre rap. It creates, there's no genres yet, so it creates rap, and it puts 1. And then it runs into another one. It's like, okay, well, rap already exists as a genre. It already contains this key in the hash map. So then it gets the value and adds 1. So it just gets a count of every genre. Returns that hash map. Here you go. Then top genres, so then it ranks the genres, and what that does is it just kind of orders them, because it has to, I was going to do that, like I decided to make a separate function because I kind of ended up being beefy, but that's a get genres, here is rank genres. So it takes your genres, kind of loops through, creates a list for the top 3, which is a array of list of maps. This one was logically complex, and basically what this does, it goes through all the genres. If the count of that genre is higher than the current top genre 0, the first one for the list, moves everything else down, and then creates a new list, creates a new value for the first, puts a hash map in there, and it puts the new hash map as the current genre. If it's a tie, it just adds a count to, or adds a genre to the first. So you go. Should be the last one on there, or it puts a new hash map on there, so new value, puts the new genre count, same thing going down, just if it's a second, move the second down to third, if it's a tie, just adds it, if it's a third, just replaces it, if it's a third, just adds it, returns the list with top 3. Then pretty much just prints that out. This is just formatting. That's pretty much it. Prints it out, kind of formats it, you know. It's the item count, so this is, it adds a semicolon, and then when it's the last one, so the item count, only one more genre. It doesn't put a semicolon, so it looks nice. And then in main, it just, the get access token is kind of standard. I don't think I have to explain that. I'm going to change this for I'm not going to submit my client ID in secret, don't worry. Basically just a loop, create playlist. Would you like to do it again? If it does, it just comes back. If it doesn't, thank you and goodbye. And then the arguments pass through the functions. So these ones obviously need access tokens, the get genres and the get features, and IDs because they have to make a call for the API. But like the get popularity and the rank genres, this is just the maps of the genres, and this is just the tracks. Because it just iterates through the tracks it already got. It doesn't have to make another call. And obviously it just return the imp. This one obviously returned the list of the genres ranked. The more complex is ranked genres. I already explained that one though. Incorporates hash maps and iterating through like lists and different hash maps and all the different data structures we've used. And then challenges, just iterating through, wrapping my head around all the wrappers for everything, solving them just kind of brute force, and then having to look a lot up and really consult the documentation. It definitely strengthened my hash map skills and thinking of problems in terms of wrappers and like casting it to string object, the maps, and then going through, and if the key equals this, going through for the value. Gen AI was definitely a tool. It helped debug a lot. Like my ranking wasn't perfect and I had to tweak it. And then also just helps cut the busy work sometimes. Like a lot of, for the rank genres, I would write out the logic for it, and it helped really like just copy paste it with the new values correct. It just cuts down on like the busy work. And then that's pretty much everything.